Primary 6. This week's big writing is a little bit different because we're going to do a film review. So that's what I'm putting out at the beginning of the week instead of on Thursday, so that you've got time to watch your film and decide whether or not you like it and what kind of review you're going to write. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is choose a film to watch, and it can be one that you've seen before or something that you haven't. Make sure that it's age appropriate. So because you're at home, you can actually choose a PG, obviously not a 12, not a 15, certainly not an 18. So enjoy the film, relax and watch it. You can watch with family, you can discuss it with family. But remember to pay close attention to things like the plot, the actors, special effects. And you've got a little bit of an advantage here just because you've made your own film and you see what it's like backstage. You know now what it's like, the special effects, the acting, and so on. So you're going to write a review by giving your own opinion. And what is a review? Well, a review gives information. So that would be information about the film. It expresses an opinion. So that's whether or not the film is good or bad. And it gives reasons for the opinion. So you could say, I enjoyed the film. I thought it was funny. I laughed out loud. The jokes were clever. So on. Or I didn't think it was a good film because I didn't understand what was going on. The plot was too complicated. Something like that. Provide an overall summary of the story. Now, we've done quite a bit of work on summaries, so you know how to do that. Focus on key details. You might want to think about things that we talked about before. The colours, the music. You might want to focus on a particular character. You decide. Then we're looking for some technical language. You know a lot about that too. It says here scene, lighting, special effects. You can also talk about things that we learnt about before. Camera angles, wide shot, close-up, extreme close-up, and so on. And then you also want to include persuasive techniques. Your review is something that will help people decide whether or not they should see the film. Believe it or not, there are actually people whose job it is to review films, and they're advising people. Sometimes they work for newspapers, sometimes they work for TV shows, and they're advising people really whether or not it's worth seeing the film. So if it helps you, and you don't have to do this, but if it helps you, you can write down notes. That's called brainstorming. The picture here shows a kind of a mind map, but you don't have to lay it out like that. But this is helpful to put it into categories: setting, plot, characters, actor, director, special effects, likes, dislikes, and even if you have one, a favourite scene. And if you do have a favourite scene, you really need to explain why it's your favourite scene. Okay. To do some research into the director or the actors, I've put a link in the comment section to a website called IMDb Internet Movie Database, and it's got lots of information about all your favourite films, TV shows, and actors. So sometimes people choose to go and see films based on who's starring in it, or based on who's directed it, or if they know about the writers, even who has written it. So you might find, if you do a wee bit of research, that a film that you've seen before and enjoyed is written by the same person, or directed by the same person, or starring the same person. Okay, so we're suggesting 5 paragraphs, with the title being the name of the film. So paragraph 1 describes what the film is about. That one paragraph. So that's a fairly short summary, and it should have quite a lot of detail about the story, not just the very beginning of the story. However, it shouldn't give away the ending. Okay? Not in a review. And you might also want to mention the genre it belongs to, whether it's a horror, a romance, a comedy, so on. Paragraph 2, write about the actors. Did they do a good job? Were they believable? That's something, again, because you've done some acting yourselves, you know a little bit about how hard it can be, how easy it is to fluff your lines, how easy it is to burst out laughing at an inappropriate time, and so on. You have seen that for yourselves. What were the good points of the film, and why? What made them so good? What were the bad points about the film? Could you make the film any better? If you enjoyed the film, there is no reason why there shouldn't be something in it that you thought could have been made better. Believe it or not, there's no such thing as a perfect film. So every film could have been made better. And if you didn't like the film, that doesn't mean that you can't find a scene or a character that you did enjoy. Okay? So just because it was a good film doesn't mean that it's perfect. Just because it's a bad film doesn't mean that everything is wrong with it. So if you didn't like it, try and think of something positive to say. And if you did like it, see if there's anything that you could have made a little bit better. So that takes us to paragraph 5, which is going to be an overall opinion of the whole film. Okay, so don't tell us in paragraph 3, this is a great film. Tell us the good points. And in paragraph 4, don't tell us this is a terrible film. Just some of the bad points. Because paragraph 5 is your overall. I thought this was a great film. I thoroughly recommend everybody watches it because it all worked together, had a happy ending, etc., etc. And give it some stars. If you thought it was really good, 5 stars. If you thought it was terrible, 1 star. Don't give it 0 stars. 1 is the lowest. Okay? Don't forget to check your work. You need capital letters. You need proper punctuation, full stops, question marks. You might want to put in speech marks if you're going to quote a passage from the film. You might want to use an ellipsis, other punctuation marks. Check your spelling. Because this is your own writing and you're writing from a film, it's maybe a wee bit trickier. The title of the film should be spelt correctly because it should be written somewhere on the screen. Make sure that your whole review makes sense. I've already mentioned paragraphs. There should be 5. Use clear English and make sure it's informative and clear and it is persuasive. So basically, and that is really about your final paragraph. Will somebody else want to see it, or will you prevent somebody from seeing it because it's terrible? And make sure you do have some technical vocabulary. You're talking about the lighting, you're talking about the colours, you're talking about the camera angles, so on, so on. Okay, and this doesn't have to be done until Friday, so you can hand it in to me via Seesaw then. And if it is on Netflix or Amazon and you've given it a good review, I might watch it and I'll let you know how I enjoyed it. Okay, well done.